Fox News alert, this week-long hearing scheduled to start today is a preliminary hearing for Charlie Kirk's accused assassin Tyler Robinson and is now well underway, bringing him face-to-face for the first time with Charlie's parents, sister, and his widow, Erica. The judge will decide if prosecutors have a strong enough case for trial. Earlier, a former police officer at Utah Valley University was working security when Kirk was killed and described the scene.
I heard an individual talking to Charlie, and I happened to kind of glance over the edge of the railing about that time. I could see the right side of Charlie's shoulder, so not his whole body, because he was underneath the tent, so I could only see probably the right side of his body. He was answering a question, kid asked him a question, and then I heard a shot fired. I turned to my chief and I said, that was a rifle shot. And he said, I agree. And I looked up at that moment. Right in the line of sight, I could see the Losi building had a direct line of sight.
The building he mentions there is the location from where Robinson allegedly shot Kirk. During this part of the hearing, the Kirk family left the courtroom, and that officer also talked about what video dispatch saw.
I asked dispatch to get on the camera system and to see if anybody was on top of the Losi building during the time of the incident.
Were you advised of anything?
I was. Dispatch came back and advised me that there was a male individual on top of the roof that was there at the time of the shooting.
Joining me now from outside that courthouse, criminal defense attorney and Fox News contributor Donna Rotunno. Donna, thanks for being with us here today. Tell us what you learned in that courtroom today.
Well, really, we haven't learned much so far, Will. There's only been 2 witnesses that have taken the stand, and this, like every other time this case has come to court, things are really dragging. The defense is objecting at every turn for things that I think at the end of the day are, Josh and I have been saying all day, are kind of legal 101. I mean, these are things that come in as evidence. I think that there's just this obstructionist idea here where they're going to do everything they can do to make the job difficult. And, you know, at the end of the day, I respect any defense attorneys that want to put on a good showing for their client. They want to defend their client vigorously. But there also comes a point where as lawyers and as professionals, we have to say there are some things that are just going to not be, the objections that are not going to be sustained, and you have to let them go. So what we've heard today is we heard about the scene setup, what happened as the officers that worked at the school. And remember, the first officers that arrived, they were employees of the school, the police force that governs what happens at the school. And then later, the more local law enforcement came in. So we've listened to 2 different officers talk about what's gone on there. And, you know, we haven't really learned much that we have not already learned.
Okay, really quickly, Donna, it sounds like while you respect any defense's ability to put on a vigorous case, it sounds like you don't respect the tactics right now being employed on behalf of Tyler Robinson. What is the point of mucking it up? What is the point of dragging it out? And I'm going to ask you this as a secondary question because of time, Donna. What did you gather from the family of Charlie Kirk?
So all I can think of in terms of why they're doing this is they don't have much else. The evidence is fairly overwhelming in this case. I think that they're going to do whatever they can do to kind of make hay out of things that don't really matter. Like today they talked about a gun holster that was found. Well, there was never a handgun used here. There's no evidence of a handgun being used here, and they're making a big deal about what they did or didn't do with this holster. I think it's a red herring. In terms of Charlie Kirk's family, obviously, this is a horrible situation. We've listened to the statement they made today, and that statement said, this is horrible for us to do, and every time this case comes to court, we are reliving his murder every single time. And to put us through this is very difficult. I know that they know that the process has to play out, but I also think that there needs to be some ability to move this along a little bit, because this is hard for them. I know that they walked out of the courtroom when they talked about the actual shooting, and how can you blame them?
Yeah, it's a shame to see this drag out unnecessarily, it sounds like, in your analysis. Donna Rotunno, thanks so much for being with us here today.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.